Hello, my people, my beautiful and handsome viewers. Yeah, welcome to my page. Yeah, Timo Starboy Reality Talk TV. This is live. We are streaming on YouTube and Facebook. You know our page. So please follow us. God will bless you more. So this is afternoon, 2:30. Yeah, 2:30 p.m. So live from Japan, Yokohama. So we are streaming. So we are streaming on Twitter as well. So follow us, Oladipupo, Timothy Oladipupo 1. Yeah, as well as YouTube and Facebook. So if you are new, our new follower, please subscribe and follow us on our pages. So God will bless you. So let's dive into today's program. As we all know, this election problem, election scandal, all this their trouble, this their shenanigan, they haven't finished, so we are still on it. So we say we should bring you the update. Today's update is about the Garuba Shehu, that is a spokesman for Buhari regime. He was saying all sort of lies. As we all know, they cannot defend a liar. There's no how you can defend a liar that you will not be rubbed with a mud. Once you are a liar, you are a liar. Once you are a thief, you are a thief. There's no born again on that, unless you are deceiving yourself. Because these people, they can never be born again. The spirit inside them is a devil. It's a typical evil. They are working for their evil agent. So, as we all see, the title of today, as you saw it on the screen, your big screen, is APC Buhari government. They are liars, and this cannot work. That is it. It cannot work for us because we know them as a liar before, and they are liar now. So we don't want them. We don't want the liar of regime. And now they want to pass it to their Emilokon. So all these things, all this shenanigan must go. All this bad government must go. All these bad leaders, they must go. That is what we are saying. That is what we are singing. We don't want their faces. Let them go and rest. Let them go and rest. Their game is over. So without a further ado, let me play you the video. I will play you two videos. So one for Obi that is they are robbing his ass now. But all I know is all of them, they are both at the same feather, flow together. Either APC, PDP, Labour Party, NNPC, NNEC, INEC, all of them, they are a bunch of liars. They are all fake. We don't need them. We need a new, genuine person. What I mean by new, genuine person is somebody that is very fresh, and it will be youth. We don't need all this cargo again. So let them pack well. So let me give you the video quick. So we all listen to it. Yeah. This is Arise TV. Yeah. This is Dr. Abati.
Approach the election this Saturday. Joining us to discuss the conduct and outcome of the presidential election of February 25 is Garuba Shehu, and also concerns around the coming election.
He's a typical liar. He's the most liar I ever come across in my life. They are saying that Hausa people, these Gambari people, they are not lying. They are the most liar now. They are the number one. In fact, nobody can beat them for lie. You will see. Just let us hear what he was saying about their regime.
This weekend, Garuba Shehu is a senior special assistant to the president on media and publicity.
You see the face.
Welcome to the show, Malam
Garuba Shehu.
Garuba Shehu. Good to see you. Well, quickly, you seem to be in the minority. Yes, when you issued a statement that the elections conducted on February 25 will seem to be an improvement on past elections. You said, well, there may have been issues, the beavers worked well, and that
INEC
may have had logistical challenges, but that was a successful process, the most competitive in recent history of Nigeria. Well, all of that will seem to be against the grain of popular opinion about that particular election. Did we take part in two different elections?
No, Ruben. If you are talking about assumptions that people have made, I'm not even sure our party was given the chance of winning the election, especially if people have taken to the digital media to read the political temperature in the country. The digital space had been occupied by people of a particular point of view and had dashed away the election to a given political party. So I think the results also came as a shock to many people. Now, the thing then is, what is the VBAS equipment is supposed to do? It is to accredit voters before they do the exercise. And I want to say that the new equipment has done this so excellently well that it has helped the country for the first time, to read the process of multiple voting and fake, voters and people who are not registered just walk in and then do this exercise. Yes, there were glitches with the viewers because the second aspect of it is that it is supposed to transmit, results to the main server. It failed to do this, not because INEC was unwilling or government didn't want this to happen, but all of the things that happened. The Minister of Digital Economy, Professor Pantami, announced that 16 million attempts were made at hacking. On the particular day of election, 5 million times people had attempted to hack. So the thing is that there was a grand plan, possibly informed from outside or from within. In any case, there is sufficient capacity in Nigeria to hack. When you see all of the trouble, we and everyone is involved in this country, all cultures, all peoples are involved, whether it is the theft of social security in America or whatever, or insurance money. I think Nigerians have developed an unusual capacity, to achieve all of that globally. So if we're doing an election at home and there's a chance to bring those skills here and try them, I think that we are not disappointed that 16 million times they have tried to hack. The important thing is that the integrity of the election was preserved. And so therefore, we ended up with the most improved election that we have seen so far. Of course, we are learning. And from this also, it's a learning process. Some new things will be learned and improvements will be caused as we seek to perfect our process.
All right, Malam Shehu, thank you. But some people might put a big question mark to your statement around the integrity of the process being, intact. Besides the BVAS not working optimally, and one of the biggest game changers, or perhaps the benefit of BVAS in the last election, was the electronic transmission of results, which obviously at presidential level failed. And this has brought a big question to how free or how credible or the level of integrity of that process, which has been challenged by a number of people, candidates and some analysts. Beyond that, INEC had a budget of over 300 billion naira to prosecute this election. However, it was fraught with irregularities, which the president himself has admitted to. One of which is logistics issues and, electoral violence across the nation. How would you put that side by side with your statement that judging the conduct of this election as being very good?
Well, let me say to you that I am not a lawyer, but from our own understanding of what INEC is supposed to do, the Electoral Act 2022 clearly says INEC has the liberty to choose the mode of transmission. So therefore, it's not by law that this transmission must be done electronically. Yes, it can be done, it's an option. But if INEC would do it and did it manually, that doesn't take away from the credibility, of the election. You talked about 300 billion naira being issued to INEC, for which reason there should not have been logistical problems. This is a huge country, nearly 1 million square kilometers, 200 million people. It's hard to think that there is any, we are not machines, we are humans. It's hard to think that this thing will kick off 8 o'clock on the dot in all of 176,000.
This is the man talking.
It's a very difficult thing to do. But you know that as we have done in the country, in case your polling unit had opened late, INEC had always made provision, even before this election, that hours of voting are usually extended. In some cases, it had even taken us to the next day. And so therefore, absolutely nothing is lost. And you talked about violence. I have seen a few of these reports, and I don't deny that. But to say that this election is characterized, or anybody say, well, this is not your word, but that certainly nobody can justifiably say that this election had been characterized by violence. Yes, a few isolated incidents, but significantly, all of the things we saw marked a significant departure from the past. And for this, actually, this country has every reason to be thankful to law enforcement because they were effective and they made sure that 99% of Nigerians voted in a free environment without fear or any sort of intimidation. It went well.
Okay, Mr. Shehu, a couple of things, and let's set the record straight. Prior to this time, you said that what was going on in the social media space was against your administration because some people from a certain political party dominated the social media space. That's not true. Your administration failed woefully.
That's
inflation
not true.
numbers, debt burden, one of the highest level of poverty and insecurity as we speak today. All the indices, your administration failed. And that's why a lot of people were surprised that the party got re-election. And you can challenge me on the facts on that. I'm giving you the facts. Inflation numbers now is 22%, one of the highest in recent times. Over 20 trillion ways and means debt. All the economic indices stacked against you. Secondly, you said 60 million attacks. No, it wasn't 60 million attacks. It was 12.9 million attacks that Mr. Issa Pantami said. And you also tried to extrapolate that to INEC. But INEC only said they had a technical glitch that day. Talks about cyber attacks were brought up, but INEC said it had no cyber attacks. That's to get the facts right. In fact, people have challenged Mr. Issa Pantami on the result he released as regards cyber attacks in Nigeria for election day, vis-a-vis the global cyber attacks map of what happened on that day. There's a story in Business Day a couple of hours ago. The question I'd like to ask you is, why was only the presidential election not transmitted to IREF? Why did other ones go? The Senate elections and the House of Representatives election, but only one presidential election. Only one not transmitted. INEC said it had technical glitches. He's not been able to tell us the nature of technical glitches. Today, you are trying to posit that there were cyber attacks. INEC said no cyber attacks. NCC said the network worked in that day.
Okay, please go.
Sorry. Sorry, this is a commercial.
The party, you said a number of things, problems, indices you gave. Did you say that that is why the
I think you are following the interaction, the interview they are giving Shehu Gaba as he was lying, he was lying on his oath that it was a cyber attack, and the INEC was saying it wasn't a cyber attack, it was just glitches, only glitches appear in that beaver. and for them not to transmit it. You can see how they are contradicting each other. This is a big lie. So let's listen furthermore.
IT lost the election. Did you say we lost the election?
So, Mr. Gabashiru, do not turn around what I said. This is what I said. I said you said that a certain party had dominated the social media space. And they kept on hammering the party, that there was no public opinion as regards the failures of
He was trying to divert the question.
The economic statistics
showed
this
is how they do. All these politician people.
Based on his initial promises, and which are there.
This is how they do, secondly, how they play their roughly game.
I've told you about what you're trying to extrapolate now with cyber attacks. But INEC has said that there were no cyber attacks that day, that they just had a technical glitch.
Technical glitch. Only.
Okay, let me say to you that as a government, we believe that we have done reasonably well. And we have delivered on all of the major promises that this administration has made.
Deliver what?
Prior to coming to office.
Liar.
And these things are key.
What have you been delivering?
Issues of security. We know what this country was like when we came in. This country had been split into two. We had a caliphate carved out of this country by Boko Haram.
It is you, Boko Haram. You are Boko Haram. You are part of them. That you split the country. Do you think we don't know the game? It is you sponsor the Boko Haram in Borno State. All those Borno people, you people, you are the one causing it. Because of your interest, all this your stupidity.
Plan their own system of administration, their own system of taxation, and all of that.
We are not blind.
17 of 27 local councils in Borno State were in that republic. All of that has changed. So don't say that we haven't achieved anything. And when you mentioned all of these things about inflation, look, please understand that there is a global crisis going on, of cost of living that is simply not confined and alone to Nigeria. Everyone is involved, whether it is arising from the things that emanated from the COVID crisis, and we know what it has done, the entire economies of the world, everyone, perhaps except China, had gone into negative numbers in terms of development. Now, and then there are all of the things about
this your life.
Ukraine and Russia war, with all of its implications for Asia, whether it is fertilizer and agriculture or fuel that we import from parts of the world. This is happening to everyone.
You see your life.
I tell you that this country, when you compare with
but Nigeria is worst.
In West Africa, in the
particularly to that, Nigeria is worstest on this earth.
Administration. We haven't done as badly as everyone.
If other country is maybe,
this government has done.
If other country maybe is 1/4, maybe let's say 5%. Nigeria is 20% worse.
So much in order to take Nigerians away and remove us from the excessive heat that had accompanied this crisis, COVID in particular, and then Ukraine-Russia war.
Okay,
the second question
thank you anyway for the numbers.
The second question I asked, you said that the cyber attacks, we had cyber attacks in the elections, but INEC said they didn't have any cyber attacks on them. So I ask you again, what is now the reason why INEC couldn't transmit those results? You said there were cyber attacks. So what are you saying? Are you saying because of the cyber attacks or not INEC had their problems?
Well, the thing is that I'm not here to be academic on any matters. The minister of the Nigerian government said there were cyber attacks. I'm supposed to believe the minister of the Nigerian government. If INEC said there were no cyber attacks, please bring the two together. The minister of digital economy, and let them resolve this issue. I'm simply a spokesman for the Nigerian president, and I'm not into all of those details.
Okay, my president. I call you my president. People don't know that you were once yourself a president of the Nigerian Guild of Editors. They only know you as an Aso Rock spokesperson. But let me ask you, when we started this program this morning, the first thing we discussed was the front page story of this day newspaper today, talking about concerns about governors trying to rig the elections on March 18 because the stakes are higher. You have already said, oh, what happened on February 25 was an improvement from your own perspective. What will you be saying to those governors who are purportedly colluding, as alleged, with INEC officials who may have bought military uniforms, and all the people who are determined to do battle at the ethnic and religious level on Friday, and the implications of those observations for the integrity of the electoral process and President Buhari's legacy?
Well, let me say, Ruben, that before the presidential election, there were also predictions that the country will go up in flames. And I want to say that to the credit of law enforcement in the country, and we must also give credit to the major contestants in the race, because as a matter by choosing to confine, to operate within the signed agreement, the peace agreement that they agreed to, going to court upon disagreeing with the outcome instead of taking their people to the streets, or calling for strikes, that itself is important for the country. So it's a statement. It tells you that inherently we are capable, there's a capacity in our country, among our politicians, to manage the situations without letting them getting out of hand. On the specific issue of the election on Saturday, I do hope that the law enforcement agencies will be reading this day newspaper on the front page, and they will be deciding on what to do. For the part of the president, I want to say that this government is elevated, is well above scandal or conspiracy on matters of outcomes, processes and outcomes of these elections. The president is determined that he will bequeath the legacy of the country's best election ever. And we're not disappointed so far.
I just to dig deeper into that, I'd like you to speak specifically to the issue around security, particularly because from what, as Dr. Bati mentioned, some of the allegations is that some of these governors, sitting governors across the states in Nigeria, are conniving with security agencies to topple the result, or to instigate violence during the Saturday gubernatorial and state house of assembly elections. What is the security plan? We have heard assurances from the National Security Advisor, which we did as well here during the 25th of February presidential elections. However, that didn't stop what you term as isolated cases of electoral violence. Nigerians want to go out on Saturday. However, there's still that concern around safety. What's the assurance from the president?
Assurance?
Well, let me go back to the last election. It has shown clearly that governors are not gods in our affairs in the country. It used to be assumed that when you finish being governor, you automatically walk into the Senate and take a seat there. I think about 4 or 5 of them had been shown that, no, you don't take Nigerians for granted. So Nigerians are determined, and the sense I have is that law enforcement is ready for just everyone, including people who want to share money in order to win. The INEC has made it clear that if anyone is caught sharing cash, they will go to jail same day.
Did they do it before?
And I hope that they act this out.
Did they do that acting before? I'm asking you.
Nigerians all the assurance.
They haven't done any jack. Even the police that seen those threatening people, they didn't do nothing. They just sat there looking. Is that what you call government? Huh? Is that what you call law? Even your president, Buhari, doesn't obey the law. Your Buhari, your sitting president now, he doesn't obey the law. Not to talk of saying he's giving order. Even INEC, they disobey the law. So what kind of a government are you guys doing?
That they need, that they just need to come out and exercise
their
own franchise. Nobody should intimidate them. clearly I understand and I accept the fact that there is
what a
desperation
tragedy.
on the part of the governors, some of the governors, to win at all cost. But I tell you that law enforcement is ready also to ensure free and fair elections.
Well, let's see now. Let's see what is going to come up.
Okay, so while we're talking now, you said the government has done fairly well as regards insecurity, that the nation was divided by the time this administration came in, and all of that has changed now. Yes, there are considerable gains as regards security, I'll give you that.
Just give it to him.
Some people were paying taxes. Yeah. No, considerable gains, yeah. Some people were paying taxes, to bandits to live in. And you said all of that has stopped. I'm sorry to shock you, it's not stopped. Because in 2012,
not stopped.
A farming community
never stopped.
Had to pay 400
the corruption is there.
Taxes to be allowed to farm. On election day, we had banditry activities.
Kudos to you, Rufai. You are the man to tackle them.
Stop any banditry activities or terrorist activities in parts of the north and parts of the country on election day.
Now, let me tell you that unless we live in utopia, there's no country that is free of crime. And I'm not trying to make excuses.
Because you are a criminal.
This is a country.
Because you are a part of the criminal. You are part of the parcel of the criminal. Go on. Spoke all up. Wow.
Where you and I know Muslims will not go to mosque on Friday because they will be bombed. Christians will not go to church on Sunday because they will be bombed. Boko Haram had gone as far as to Kogi and was threatening to cross, over.
Is it not your people? The people you are sponsored.
So, the fact that in an election in which all 200 million people of Nigeria were witness to, and that you had one incident in Goza. I mean, nobody says the Boko Haram is no longer an occasional threat. The gain we have made is that it's no longer a sustainable threat. And so therefore, we hope that at some point, even this occasional threat will go away. And when you talked about ransom payment for kidnappings and in southern Kaduna and all of that, again, nobody is trying to say. When I made reference to Borno and the Northeast, I was talking about the Boko Haram threat. From then to now, this country has been confronted by new challenges. Some of them.
It's your people. It is your people.
Before now.
Who don't fool us again. You are the people sponsoring them.
To rise up.
Stop lying.
And to contain them. Don't forget that before this hike that we were effectively trying to deal with the kidnappings and cattle rustling and all of that, the clashes between herders and the farmers had escalated to newer levels, although this is something that also had lived us from pre-colonial times. It had escalated to point that the government had to just do more than what ordinarily was required to do. And to say that there has sufficiently been a calming down, of that instance. And the new one, which is these kidnappings and all of that, it too is going down. And it has helped greatly.
Going where?
Especially lately.
Stop lying. It's not going anywhere.
Policy by central bank to change our currency notes.
You are the people. You are the people just doing the parcel of the criminal.
Saying that President Muhamodu Buhari has never directed anyone to disobey the rule of law. And yet critics of the administration can list a catalog of instances in which, under this administration, public officials have routinely disobeyed the rule of law, disobeyed court orders, and nothing happened to them. If you could just shed more light on that.
INEC is disobeying the rule of law, even as well as Buhari, as well as Buhari himself.
Court orders. And
they are not obey the law.
Buhari, if you are going to do physical wrestling, President Buhari is not the strongest man physically in this country. He is being obeyed because there is rule of law. If there is no rule of law, obedience to government is
number one top of criminals.
And I still stand by that assertion we made. He, President, as a person, Will never. That's not Buhari. Call Minister of Justice and say, this is the rule to obey. This one don't obey.
That's not
It will
Buhari.
not happen.
So who is he? Who is that in the Azo Rock?
Now that he has just
Who is inside the Azo Rock?
so
Tell us.
Please, let's forget about that. Yeah, there are rogue elements in all systems.
Who is inside Azo Rock?
And when they try to play tricks with the decisions of court, the system works. It has a way of catching up with people.
All right, thank you.
Thank you Thank you very much for your time.
Anyway, that's how it go down, my people. So let me play you the second one. That is for Obi that he spoke up on his mandate. So let's share together. Sorry, this commercial, I'm fed up of it. Okay, here we go. The interview of Peter Obi. Can see. Arrest TV. The interview will start now. So let's watch it together. Okay.
Now as you can see, we have our very first guest on the program this morning, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the February 25th, 2023 election. Mr. Peter Obi is right here with us in our studio. Good morning. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Good morning. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, it's good to have you, really. I know that the pre-election polls, a lot of them said something that put you as the winner. And I imagine in the whole scheme of things, you may have envisioned this moment, this period after the election as a president-elect. You may have maybe envisioned what you'll be doing, the kind of deliberations you'll be doing, but that is not the case, clearly. And I just wonder, from your own point of view, because we hear your manifesto, we hear all of these things, but in terms of the emotional angle, how are you handling the result of the election, which goes against perhaps what you had anticipated?
Well, for me, is when you go into a competition, especially in a transactional country as Nigeria, you expect all sorts. And whatever the outcome, the most important thing is to stay on course. And for me, I'm on course on this because we've seen probably what I consider the worst election in our recent history because of the electoral law of 2022, which gave so much hope, and the huge expenditure we put into technology. You know what it means, spending over $1 billion, 400-something billion. So there was so much that was promised. And then we went back to where we used to be. For me, that is very, very devastating. That a country as big as Nigeria, the giant of Africa, and supposedly a nation that should be celebrated globally, 63 years after independence, cannot conduct a simple election. Just election. That's how I feel. But for me, the struggle is on. We must reverse this situation.
So are you hurt? Are you saddened? Do you have hope? I just want to understand your mental state now.
I'm not hurt personally. I'm not saddened personally. But I am for my country and the future. It pertains for the young ones and the future generation. Because we can't go on this way. It must be a better place. We must bequeath them a better place. It is about the future of the society. We have my generation will say, we've lost it. But we must build a better place for them. And that building the better place is why I'm saddened. Because a simple thing as conducting an election. I can assure anybody that if today I'm in service, Nigeria will not spend near what was spent, and we have a first-class election that will be celebrated globally. Look at the editorials globally all over the newspapers, starting from the Financial Times to the Economist to everything, to Chatham House, that doesn't, institutions that don't make comments, is not making comment, bringing us so low in Committee of Nations. Even one of the rating agencies downgraded our rating. Already a junk rating. Why bring us that low again?
Which of the ratings do you refer to?
Let me remember. I remember it because of this, because I have quite a number of them.
Okay, I just also want to understand, because this is not your first time participating in elections. I mean, you participated in the governorship, you've been a running mate, and a lot of people have spoken about previous elections. You think that this is the worst in the country's recent history?
Yes, it is the worst because of, like I said, remember, I said because of the law, the 2022 law, that gave so much hope when it was passed, because all those loopholes and difficulties we used to have were taken care of. And then again, we invested in technology, which was supposed to make it seamless. And that was so much noise of from polling booth to server, and everybody will see it globally, and we advertise it. Go and look at the speech of the APC presidential candidate at Chatham House. Go and look at my own speech. Go and look at the speech of the INEC chairman in Chatham House. Everybody pays so much emphasis on the law and the technology. In fact, the APC presidential candidate said that the winner, that the BVAS is evolutionary, that the winner of next election requires an overwhelming mandate of the people to have the courage to be able to do the right things for the country. I said the same thing. And the chairman of INEC said it will be there for the world to watch, that they can watch it from there. I mean, what else do you expect, Kade? When you promise so much, and you didn't even meet the minimum.
So that's still the bone of contention here. I know that the national chairman of your party had seemingly passed a vote of no confidence on INEC, and INEC has painstakingly, through television appearances and press briefings, reassured that it has nothing to hide and that it will make documents available. Following all of those efforts by INEC, are you satisfied now? Have you been granted access to inspect the information on the BVAS machines used for the presidential election?
Well, it's not our chairman of our party that passed vote of no confidence. Nigerians have. It's not chairman of our party. Everybody, including you, I'm sure, have the vote of no confidence in them. You might not say it here.
I mean, you can't be sure.
Everybody, I'm definitely sure you could see it. Whenever there's an election announced globally, what it does is that your police, the rating, the status of that society. But every newspaper, I mean, go and read the Punch editorial on Sunday. And these are editorial. We have never happened before where we have banned editorial globally and internally, where people are saddened. Go to the airport. If you're not sure, but just when you finish this program, go out on the street and ask people, how do you feel? They'll tell you. So Nigerians have passed vote of no confidence, not the chairman of Labour Party. An issue of BVAS and everything, we have legally, within the law, approached INEC requesting to inspect the materials on which they conducted the election. And I believe they are cooperating. Even when they said they will configure, they've said they are going to put it at the back end server so that we'll be able after the election. And for me, we don't want to disrupt the process, electoral process that is ongoing. We want to do things in an organized manner because at the end of the day, it's our country.
But have you been granted that unfettered access? Now, it's just 2 days.
Yes, we've been granted that, but you know they're going to do elections, so they said when they finish the election, they'll give us the ABC, which for me is okay.
Okay.
Let them do whatever they want to do so that we can have, and I pray that this one become better than the last one.
Still on the election, it was a shocker that you won Lagos. And not one, at least I've heard two members of your party say that the votes that went to the Labour Party from Lagos during the presidential election actually was about 900,000. And I'm just wondering how believable that is. If the number of accredited voters is 1.347 million, and what went to the presidential candidate of the APC, who, by the way, is also very popular in Lagos, is 572,606 votes. How possible is it that you would have secured about 900,000 votes in Lagos? So what would have gone to the presidential candidate of the APC?
I can assure you that the position announced by INEC is false. It's not wrong. I don't know exactly what it would have been, but I can show you.
But you have your results.
Our votes are far more than that. These are not issue of contention, which I don't intend to say there, but our figures are far more than that.
Because the matter is in court.
And its matter is in court, so I'll leave it at that. What did we do? Because we campaigned and told the people threats. And remember, my watchword is go and verify whatever I'm telling you. You can only draw from the past. We campaigned, told the people the truth, nothing but the truth. And they know that from our past what we're promising we're going to do. We wanted to build a new Nigeria where this Lagos will be a place and a financial center, not just for Africa, but come probably the Middle East.
But why Lagos? What about East?
Who used to drive the change of Africa in terms of finance. And I'm part of that work. And the same thing is what we're doing all over Nigeria. Because we have, the North would have been something where you have engine of pulling people out of poverty due to massive agricultural production that will lead to industry, that will lead to export. The East would have been a place you can say also of industries that I mentioned, exporting also products again through the Port Harcourt, Akwa Ibom, Warriors, and you're doing the same thing here in Lagos. This country can be turned around as quickly as possible and become something everybody will wish to celebrate.
Says
I just
is
wanted
better
to
than
be sure.
done.
I mean, your lawyers met with INEC
Says
some days ago,
is
and
better
INEC
than
chairman made that statement
done.
that there's nothing to hide. Has that
Or
changed
it's faster than
the
done.
position, perhaps the trust?
Either.
Because time and again we saw the joint press conference
Says
after the
is
election.
saying
Your party,
is
the PDP,
faster
and I think
than done.
the ADC had
You
that
know?
joint conference. The chairman.
It might be
said
easy
time and
saying
again that
it,
you don't
but
trust this
to
process.
do
Now,
it,
that meeting,
That was the initial.
do you
this is
now
what you are
trust
promising.
That was when we're starting it. If
Yeah,
somebody
we'll
had
be here for you.
what they pronounce, there's no way the trust.
Yeah, the media will be here. Oh.
But they didn't.
They are not going anywhere. We'll be on your neck.
We're dealing with the lawyers. I don't go to INEC any longer. I'm not part of it.
So has your trust been restored in INEC?
Well, I believe the lawyers so far are satisfied. And if they are, like I said, the case is not in court. So it's no longer me trusting or not trusting INEC. There's now something between the two of us. So if that which is between the two of us, which is our lawyers, trust them,
You're fine with that?
I'm fine with
because
that.
you have a history with, pardon me, Bukola, you have a history with the tribunal, so to speak, with the court. I think it was your case that first changed the calendar of election cycle in Nigeria. That's in Anambra years ago. So it looks like a lot of people are looking to see if thunder will strike twice on this one. Are you confident in the judiciary as you were then?
Well, I am because, like I said, I stayed in court for 3 years where people say it's impossible for you to become a governor through the court. And I became the first. Remember, I was impeached. And again, the court brought me back. And I went for interpretation when I said my tenure is not complete, which was one you referred to, that change. They said it's impossible because somebody else has been elected and sworn in. But I changed it. So if you go through that, I've been going through courts, several of them, and I've not had any cause to doubt the courts. But I can tell you, I believe Nigeria have the best, one of the best judiciary.
It's not the best.
Globally. It is we politicians.
I disagree with you, sir.
That are trying to cope.
Not the best. It's the worst.
It's trying to.
It's the worst test on this global.
Ensure that everywhere
and this this planet. Nigeria is the worst
I
test.
wish the judiciary can start reversing.
How this kind of gullible people, dealing on money.
Globally, what is happening?
This myopic attitude.
People go everywhere in the world and they ask, what happened with Nigerian election? Africans are surprised.
They ask over here too.
Can no longer deliver. Just election.
It's a shame.
We're not talking about something great. It's just election. Ghana is supposed to have election. Without beavers, without everything. It will be seamless, peaceful. You'll see it come very soon. So what is wrong with us?
Well, Ghana is
a lot.
I mean, in terms of population,
a lot is wrong. It's wrong with our brain.
Of what they have to handle. I'm just saying,
especially our leaders.
It's okay to learn
our elders and leaders.
Compare notes, but I don't know if that's a fair comparison.
A lot is wrong here. Something is inching them there.
Follow up on your confidence in the judiciary. Is it against all odds? To the effect that there's a diminishing trust quotient, particularly in the Supreme Court, following court verdicts on certain governorship elections in the country. So are you still confident regardless of all of this?
I don't go anywhere referring how the other people were treated. Irrespective of their controversial judgments recently, I have confidence that they know the country is collapsing. They know they have to help to build a better place for their children. And kindly, Ghana, if you're talking about Ghana being much more...
If it's fair to compare Ghana with Nigeria.
India is the biggest and the most populous democratic country. India in my last count, have, I think, 912 or 900 plus registered voters, which is about 10 times that size of Nigeria. And India election participation, electoral process, is about 67%. 67% card is about, again, above 600 million, I think about 611. If you divide that by 24 million, it's 25 times. Yet, the issue of, call it, problems associated with it is not more than 5%. So, it is a Nigerian problem. Indonesia, Brazil are all bigger in population. They too have challenges, but minus or plus 5%. And as a result, very quickly, people can see it. What we're saying here is that we had a technology which we paid and advertised so much. How do you feel that your advertising channel is going to be great, things are going to work in channel and everything, and on the day channel is supposed to unveil it, channel now comes out and says, well, listen, we didn't know, or this is funny. Let's not go there.
Well, let's go to Abuja now. My colleagues are waiting with more questions. Over to you guys.
Shimbele.
今日めっちゃサクサクやわ。どこもホーム 5G につながってるからです。
初めてのコンタクト利用者
Sorry, you. This commercial.
Good morning. Good to see you, Mr. Pichobi. Well, let's start. Let me just get your perspective on this. What is the current position of the matter you're pursuing? Because yes, you have spoken about what you like to see in the long run, or what you would have loved to see with the process. What kind of feedback do you have from your lawyers now concerning how the matter is progressing? Is INEC complying with the decisions as handed out by the courts?
For me, it's the lawyers that will answer accurately about this. Like I said, there's not something between INEC and myself and the party. So, from what they've said so far to me, they say they are working with them. I will not say, well, yes or no. But if the lawyers say they're working with them, that means they're working with them. And that I'm okay with.
Okay, Mr. Kutobe, good morning. I'd like to ask you, what key element would you say is the singular factor, or will I say if there are multiple factors, what would you say really stand out for you that make these elections the worst, as you have described them to be?
Well, the issue of the so-called divas, which have changed to basic value acceptable. So, you have promised that you're going to conduct an election through a particular process. And that process failed completely. So that is it. So
in effect, you say that the beavers failed completely. Would that be accurate, considering the fact that
the server
for accreditation, the beavers worked. It was to take the pictures.
Okay, maybe not completely, but it failed on the most critical aspect of the beavers. It failed on. It's like a situation where you've been promised this fantastic 3-course meal, and you came in with a little starter, waiting for the main meal, and they carried it away. So you can't say you have been fed, because the main thing was not going from the pulling unit to the server. That is the main meal. So they took away the main meal and said, okay, the beavers have worked, because so you can't walk out and say the meal was fantastic, because after all, they gave me the little starter, and then the main meal was not served. And
that's the IREV.
That's it. The main thing was not there. Nobody, even in my village, where people are not sophisticated, not educated, they were all glued to one place waiting to see the result coming in through, like they told us that everybody will be seeing it. I'm sure you didn't see it, my sister. They said it failed.
That's the IREV. The IREV is separate from the beavers. The beavers accredits people, and then it's supposed to take a picture and upload it to the IREV. The IREV did not work that way.
Yes, you know the difference between all this. For the average Nigerian, that is all included. And I want to speak to the average Nigerian. What they've showed us, whether it's IREV, whether it's the IRA, what they told us is the beavers is from this to this. We are promised this sumptuous meal, and we just had a serve of the starter, and they disappeared with the rest of the food. So we didn't. It's the worst lunch we have had.
I've had to make that clarification because you know that the BVAS is also going to be used again in this governorship elections. And a lot of people might be imagining that that exactly was the instrument of fraud. And maybe might be reluctant to use it or might be reluctant to come out. But the IREV was,
where people are already reluctant.
And I'm very happy for how you have.
Thank you.
How you described it.
People are already,
moving beyond that.
might not come out. We're pushing them now.
Yes.
We're making them to have faith and come out.
Exactly. So I know as a result of that, you've been going around a number of states. I mean, you've given speeches, you've done a few thank you visits around a number of states to thank your supporters for their votes on the day of the presidential election. And I think yesterday you were in Jos, in Plateau State. I don't know where you're going next. I don't even know how you're doing it because you were in Jos and now you're in a different location entirely. I'm wondering, what state would you be really keeping an eye on for your governorship candidates? Because some people within your party are saying, yes, we voted you because of your capacity and your competence, but we're not going to blindly vote Labour Party, top to bottom in all cases if we're not confident about the candidates that your party is fielding. How are you going to persuade such people to, continue to support the Labour Party and understand party politics as the case might be?
Let me tell you, I support the obedience. Please do not vote blindly. We have a country and we have a problem and we need to deal with it. And I've said, please, you watch one with character, competence, capacity, and compassion. The country needs to see competent people in position to serve. So do not vote blindly. And we have them in a number of states. Remember, Labour is not, remember what they told you when we're starting, that we don't have structures. So we don't have people all over the place competing. Please, we have some states where we have competent people. You can, let me start with Lagos. We have a competent hand here, young, dynamic man that can do the job. We have in Abia. I was in Jos, like you said. And even you can have visited most of all those states where I think we have competent people that can do the job. We have in Kaduna, we have in one or two states. We don't have all over the country. Out of the 10 states, 30 states or so, that is
let me pull it for
states where the
this one is not
election
necessary
for governorship. The first thing I want to see is that the process is right. The process through which you achieve anything is far more fundamental than what you do thereafter. I can't come into channel now where somebody has worked hard, all of you, build a team, work hard, and take it over, and then say, I'll run it better, increase your salaries, start doing things better than Chief Mama would do, and you say, that's right, but I didn't work hard for it. Let us go back first. I'm challenging the process and the declaration. Until we get it right, then we can talk about government of national unity. Otherwise, we will go and sit down and say that the people who stop the train and kidnap people also can invite us to discuss about peace and when they're having people in captive.
So you're not of collaboration?
No. Let's do things right.
Okay.
That's where we start. Until things are done rightly, you can't just go, we're encouraging what we don't need to encourage.
Well, we know you have a busy schedule, as usual, and we need to let you go. So let's wind down on this. Well, there's some groups asking you not to come to Abia State. They believe that you plan to come to Abia State, and they say that, well, it's a setup regarding security, and that they supported you for presidential, so you should allow them do the governorship across party lines. Are you listening to them? Are you going ahead?
I've been to Abia. Because of my going around now, I've been to Abia. I've been to most places. I won't tell you where I'm going today, but I'm moving around. So, nobody can stop. You see, these are things about our democracy. This is what I'm saying. I have governed the state, and everybody was free to move around.
Okay, guys, that's what we have for you today. So please continue sharing our program, like and love it. So God will bless you in your own end. Thank you. Have a lovely day. Bye.